I have tried many times to make this video, to post it. It's impossible to put all these things into one video, one idea that people can understand and comprehend. I don't understand myself. I can't explain that you can understand what I'm talking about. I've made hundreds of videos on this YouTube channel to talk about the reality that we live in. There's a whole podcast called Newfound Reality that speaks about these different things that have to happen in order for us to understand what's going on or to move forward. I live in the ghetto. I've been living in the ghetto my whole life. I was born in the ghetto. I live in the ghetto, and I will die in the ghetto. There is no movement right now within my lifetime. The roles have already been decided, a long time ago. You are rich, you're poor, you own, you work. It's passed on through generations, in every place in the world you have the same thing. Every city, every country, you have a rich part of the city and poor part of the city. In the rich part of the city, you have villas and mansions, and homeless people don't go there. Drug addicts or people who are down on their luck or living an alternative lifestyle do not go there. Beverly Hills is in the hills. It's really difficult for people without transportation to get there. So down in the ghetto, in the downtown areas of every city, you have these vibrant communities where you have newcomers, immigrants, service industry workers, new families, crack addicts, sex workers, everything living together because it's cheaper. There's more opportunities to make a little bit money, to hustle, to do whatever. It's more interesting to me personally. I feel the energy of people, when I go out into the what we call rich neighborhoods. I'm mesmerized by these houses, but my God, it feels different. There's just these houses that are separate from each other. They feel cold. They feel like there's a family there that lives, and that's it, and they're on their own. So much happens behind closed doors. When you see a beautiful home, you think, wow, I wish I was there. I wish I was in this family. But within these closed doors, in these rich, beautiful homes, there's so much tragedy, just like in every life. There's so much pettiness, jealousy, blah, 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 and happiness and everything else, just like everywhere else. It's impossible to say, there she is, the woman in charge of all these problems that I'm talking about. It's impossible to say that, this is good or this is bad. I lost my train of thought. The story I want to bring in today is called Two Women, and welcome to the future. And it's an observation. It's something that I see every day around me here in the ghetto where I live in. Is that, I wake up in the morning to go to work. I come outside and all our garbage is thrown everywhere. On a garbage day, even not on a garbage day because nobody wants to pick it up later on. So once a week, we take all our garbage and leave it out in the street, and truck comes and picks it up. God forbid the truck doesn't show up for a month. All that garbage there in the street will just kill us all. We always have so much problem with mice and rats in downtown and pretty much any city like that. So in these neighborhoods, in the ghettos that we live in, we have a family from Ukraine, a family from Saudi Arabia, a family from Africa, a local family, like young family with children. But we also have a crack house, a sex workers house, and they live like right next door to each other. So what happens is that a lot of times people looking for drugs, they come to these, we call them crack houses, and they take their garbage and they just rip it apart in order to find a little bit of crack cocaine, and so they can smoke it, dilute it, ingest it, or inject it. So while looking for it, they just throw garbage everywhere. So you come outside from your house and there's needles everywhere. There's cigarette butts. There's just, you can't imagine what people who are addicted to drugs eat. You know, I mean, even if you open my garbage, it's garbage. It's shit. Right? So it's even worse, so more so in let's say in homes like this, where there's like cans of sardines or whatnot. So when that's thrown all over the place, you wake up in the morning, it's like not a pleasant sight. And then our children also wake up, they go to school, they walk to school to get some fresh air, to get some exercise. So they have to walk through these needles, through these things, through this garbage thrown around by several individuals. Like I said, the lady that did this is right there. She's not one of the women in the stories, but she could be. So I come home in the afternoon from work, driving my little car that's like, 15, 16 years old, has 200,000 kilometers, but it moves and I'm grateful for it. I'm not Jay Leno. I don't have 150 Porsches in my garage. I mean, why would anybody have 150 cars sitting in their garage? Maybe they are like guitars, and you can never have enough guitars or never have enough cars. I'm not questioning that. Everybody, has their own way of living. I know that rich people work harder than anybody else. Like people that are given, look at Donald Trump. He was given everything, from his father. Like I said, all that wealth is transferred from one generation to another. But people work really hard. They really, really do. Everything that we have is thanks to these rich capitalists. They take care of the garbage, they take care of the education, they take care of the entertainment, they take care of the food. Because I can't do shit. All I do is go to work, come home, eat, and then go play music. I don't produce anything. I don't own land that, grow food. I don't have a factory that makes clothing. I'm a worker. I'm 99%, 1% that owns everything else. They control it and they work really hard, man. They have so many responsibilities. They say that king is everybody's servant. The way it is. So, back to my ghetto. I come back home, and it's a couple of days ago. Like I said, I tried to make this video several times. I recorded them in several different versions, and I really don't know whether I should post them or I should write them. I wish I could sit down and write the book and tell a story like that, and then people can read and there's a detachment. But no, I want to throw myself into the fire for whatever reason. So it's cold. It's like minus something. The snow fell down. It's horrible outside. And I'm driving back to my ghetto, to my neighborhood. And right there on the road, there's two women. They are just like, moving around so they are not freezing. They're both in their late 20s. One woman is probably from Bangladesh or Pakistan or something like that, waiting for a bus to go to McDonald's, to work 5 hours shift, $15 an hour, and she cannot survive on just one job. So she probably has another job, another part-time job in order to support herself, because there's no more jobs that really support you fully in one shot. Like, it's impossible to find one job that will give you enough that you can have a normal life with a family. So you need to do 2 or 3 jobs, unfortunately, especially if you're a newcomer and you don't have all these connections. So she does not have a car. She has to wait for a bus. This bus comes every 30 minutes. She has to come an hour earlier, because if she misses that bus, Another one, she'll be late. And if she's 3 times late, she's going to lose her job. So she's just sitting there and, standing there and trying not to get frozen, moving around and waiting for a bus. Across the street, another woman is doing the same, also late 20s. Obviously, a Caucasian woman, so I would say a local woman. She's skinny, which means nothing really, but for those of us who have experience through social work, through lifestyle of our own, women who consume crack, who consume these kind of drugs, they tend to be slimmer, because once you're on drugs, that's all you want. You just want drugs. You really don't care about food. You don't care about, anything. I'm not saying all skinny people do drugs. I'm trying to joke because that's how I deal with all this madness. None of this is funny, really. This is serious life that I see every day. But she's a woman from here. She's waiting for her John to pick her up and provide service for $40 per service. That's what it is. I work within the social work milieu. I'm a musician. I'm downtown. I know the homeless people personally. I know the sex workers personally. Like I said, because I live here and I work with them. I give them money sometimes when I come back from gigs, so we'll have a little conversation. In this case, I know this person's parents as well too, through a completely different situation, through a different friend. This woman has everything. She has parents that have home, that will provide a home for her, that will provide food, clothing, whatever else is needed, I guess basic necessities, but she doesn't want any of this stuff. She doesn't want to live with her parents. She wants to live her own life, and she's addicted to drugs. She even has AIDS. And there they are, in this ghetto, in downtown, in this vibrant community. My kids see them every day, Everybody sees everything. We all know this stuff. It's not like I'm speaking something new. I've decided to talk about it because that's something that I see. What else can you talk about, really? I see a lot of beautiful things all the time, every day, and I post beautiful videos. I post inspirational material, but today it's a great foggy day, so I really am trying to post this story. So I ask myself, which of these women is right? Which of these women is wrong? Or is there such thing as right or wrong? The woman going to McDonald's is going there to sell drugs. Fast food is drugs full of chemicals that is killing us, creating heart problems, cholesterol, all that stuff. So it's like almost she's selling guns. We know that fast food is not good for us. I love it. I eat it. I've already had a stroke. I've already had a heart attack. So I fully understand how it affects me. I am overweight, all that jazz. So that's really, she doesn't have a choice. Is that her choice? She came here, she left her home for whatever reason. Maybe there was a war, maybe the family didn't get along, maybe there was no opportunities for her there, maybe she didn't want to live that traditional lifestyle that is being forced upon her, so she wanted something completely different. Maybe she's an artist like me, maybe she's a poet, maybe she's a musician, and then the woman on the other side of the road that does not want to be a part of this society, does not work, does not pay taxes, she does everything under the table, no pun intended. I ask myself, is it possible for these women to change side? What would it take for them to kind of go to the other side of the road and live in their lives, respective lives, for a couple of days? I know this is completely ridiculous to even think about, you know, because it will never happen. I ask myself, if I were to stop there to offer them a ride, to offer them help, if I were to go to this lady, hey, it's freezing, I will take you to McDonald's now, she would not get into my car. The other woman would jump in immediately, even just to warm up, chat for a little bit, even if there's no business. Obviously, if there is business, she'll go with me anywhere. Ooh, unbelievable, man. And here's the most interesting thing. The parents of the sex worker, she's not just a sex worker, she's a person, she's a woman, young woman, also came to this country. They worked really, really hard to create a better life for themselves and their children. They did the best they could. And this is what's going on. Will the children of this young lady working for McDonald's end up in the same situation once she is able to have a family? I mean, it's I don't know if it's discouraging, if there's like hope. What is it that we should do? I mean, like, should we, like I've talked about it in my own podcast called Newfound Reality, like, sex work has to be legalized, has to be put in through like our medical institution, through our health system, so that when you go to see a doctor, you can get a prescription for it, and it's provided by people who want to do this job, who has job security, who have all the medical benefits, rather than like this. How is that going to happen? That remains to be seen. But this is not a way to live. I guess it is, you know. It is. It's the ghetto. It's everything all at once. You know, you wake up in the morning, you know, with all these ideas, that your ideals that you get from your mind, from a movie, from TikTok. Meditate, eat vegetables, exercise. Then you come out and you see needles, garbage. You see young people struggling. You see old people being happy. All of it, everything at once. The past, the future, the history. You drive, and, you know, if you're lucky enough to have a beautiful vehicle, and then you see two women, and you say, welcome to the future. This is it. Yeah. How do they get where they get? What choice do they have? Do they have a choice? Is choice an illusion? Why do we have McDonald's and drugs? Which is worse? Does one take you to another? I don't know. I'm waiting for 20 minutes to finish this video, but I'm all out of breath. I did another version in Bosnian language, or whatever language is my mother language. I really wanted to get this story out, this image of these two women just standing on the road in the middle of the winter and waiting. One is waiting for the bus, the other one is waiting for her John. It's just the way it is in the moment. Most people see this every day and they don't even think about it. They don't think about it in such way that I do. And I also don't. I've driven there a million times. And then it just hits you like this. You realize, wow, what are we doing? What is the purpose of our existence? Where does it come from? So many questions. Some days I have the answers, some days I have the questions. Today I have the questions. It's a grey foggy day after all. Let's enjoy the last 10 seconds in peace. Yeah. Go out. out, pick up this garbage, make some food, and let's go. There's so much more ahead of us. It'll be good. It'll be good by 2,500.